How good is Aaron Rodgers? How good is Aaron Rodgers? In the same way that we were discussing this offseason, non-playing season, is what type of Cam would show up and how the Patriots went through much of their evaluation portion, draft period, free agency period, saying we can go with Stidham and Hoyer. And then we saw last night why potentially
can't do that.
Bill picked up the phone in June and said, "Let's. Does anyone around here have Cam Newton's number?" That was number one storyline question mark that we've gotten answered. The other one was, how pissed off is Aaron Rodgers? How is he going to react to the fact that they drafted his successor instead of drafting him? Somebody like, say, even though he was taken off the board by the time that they moved up to take Jordan Love, they could have moved up to take the kid who leapfrogged half of the Eagles' defense on Sunday night, and Brandon Ayuk. Can you imagine if he's running around opposite Davante Adams? And we had Aaron Rodgers on this show a couple Fridays ago, and he said that he was at peace with where he is and that he worked on a lot about himself in the offseason. Remember he said that, Chris? Mm-hmm. And that he's at peace is where he is, that he does like the offense. He is very comfortable within this offense, that the cadence of the offense he's more comfortable with. He knows the voice in his ear. He's more familiar with that voice than Matt LaFleur, who, by the way, is now 4-0 after going 13-3 in his first year. We'll do the math for you. That's winning 17 of his first 20 as head coach of the Green Bay Packers. You'd sign for that. But Aaron Rodgers is, if you will, doing more with less. Aaron Rodgers is finding guys that you didn't think he would have to find, or he is helping raise the level of play of people that have it within them. Allen Lazard last week, this past week, last night, number 85 in your program, number 1 in your heart, and 3 times in the end zone. When George Kittle was kind enough to clear a hole in his schedule to show up in Indianapolis at the Combine this year and help me raise a ton of money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for the Run Rich Run campaign. Remember he came on the show, he said, "I'll time you." And I reached out to him, "Do you want to time me?" And he's like, "Yeah." He showed up. Showed up with his dad, his agent. This was Team Kittle who he showed up with. He showed up with a 4th individual. It was Kittle plus 3. The guy he showed up with was a workout partner of his, a guy who he's doing workout, he's going to be working out with in the offseason, and a really good friend of his. His name was Robert Tanya.
This guy?
This guy.
Oh, wow.
And he was just as big as George. And he was just as stacked as George. And this is, again, to my own eye. I don't want George to get pissed off if he's like, "I'm bigger, I'm stronger." But they are tight. And George said to me at one point as we were walking to the line for me to get warmed up and all that stuff, he goes, "Watch out for this guy this year. Watch out for him. Aaron likes him. He loves Aaron. Watch out for him." Well, we saw a lot of him last night. No Davante Adams, no Allen Lazard. At times, our second-hour guest, Aaron Jones, was not on the field. Apparently, he was dealing with cramps leading up to the game this past week. Oh, big whoop. Maybe that's why Aaron Rodgers is at peace. The defense, too, man. Bageled Calvin Ridley. Blue Tarski, 0.0.
Didn't expect that.
And, I mean, the Smiths.
Julio Jones didn't play in the second half.
I know. And Atlanta, I know at least Todd Gurley had a couple of touchdowns, but I don't know what to say other than the fact that it's just looking brutal there. And we love the coach. We love Thomas Dimitroff, the general manager, one of our favorites to call up, but it's bleak right there. And next up for them is Carolina, and the Panthers are winners of 2 in a row. They've won each game since McCaffrey went out, and they're feeling good, and Bridgewater's feeling good. And what way to put the hot seat on caution flammable than to go in and beat Atlanta in their own house to go 3-2, to be 3 games ahead of Atlanta. This team that gave up on Cam started 0-2, turning their season around. It's bleak right now for Atlanta. And on the flip side, Green Bay, I said to, was it Peter King yesterday? I forget who it might have been. All the great shows bleed into each other is essentially what I'm saying. You know, who's the most complete team? Is it Green Bay? And they're like, no, Kansas City would be. They're the defending Super Bowl champs, and they've got a great stacked team, and I do love them. Don't sleep on the Green Bay Packers. They're hitting their bye week. And this is one of the things I want to talk about with Aaron Jones is what has Matt LaFleur told this team on a bye week. As you might have read, the coronavirus in the Green Bay area in particular is running wild. It is something for people in the area to keep vigilant about. Certainly if you don't have a helicopter that can take you to a world-class hospital and give you all sorts of experimental drugs. That bye week is concerning to me. I hope everybody stays healthy, but then coming out, look at that Week 6 game. Wow. At TB12. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.